Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Neon Valley Podcast, episode 42. It is actually episode F you, Joseph. I saw what you did last episode. I was right. Why did you say I was wrong? I don't fucking understand.
He loves messing with you. He picks you out specifically.
Yeah. This is the show where and today we're going to talk about, and today I have with me Tsuku. Tsuku, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Fine. Anyway, if you want to support us, make sure to go over to that Discord, Patreon, all of our social medias. It is all Neon Valley Pod. Links are in the description. Anywhere you're listening to this, make sure to check that out. Support your boys. Pew, 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 pew.
All Neon, all Valley, all Pod, all day.
So anyway,
Tyler, how are you doing today?
No, I asked you how you were doing. No, I didn't I? Did I? I don't. Yeah, I said we have Tsuku. How you doing, Tsuku? Didn't I? Tsuku, how you doing?
I heard that we have Tsuku.
Tsuku, how you doing?
You know what?
Everything
You're probably
else.
right. You're probably right. All right.
How you doing?
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a crazy couple weeks. We took a week off, so sorry to everyone.
Joseph broke our computers.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah, kind of a dick move. No, I took a little vacation actually with Audrey. That's my girlfriend for anyone who doesn't know. And we went up to the coast out here in Oregon. It was very nice. One of our coworkers had a lake house, and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's very spooky because it's very secluded. Ooh. It's by itself,
Okay.
like in the woods. They have their own bay and like dock that you can go off of to the lake that leads
That's
like
super cool.
directly out to the ocean. Yeah, it's pretty freaky. Caught my first fish. What up? Nothing major.
Oh, what kind of fish?
Rainbow trout.
What size hook did you use?
3/4 centimeter. I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. Do you want to know how? Do you want to genuinely?
I'm just kidding.
No, I do. I'll genuinely tell you how this happened. One of the people we were with, he was fishing. He was the only one out there. And I was like, you know what? Let me go chill out with him. I'm going to smoke a joint. And while I'm out there talking with him, he decided he was going to go out kayaking with the other people who were just starting to leave. And he was like, oh, I'm going to go with them. So if you want to like fish, you can just watch the rod. And I was like, nah, I don't fish. I don't know how to fish, But I kind of remembered, I remembered everything, but I was like, no, I'm good. So he left, and then I'm just kind of like, I'm eyeing the rod. I'm like,
Right.
well,
You're like, I know how to fish.
yeah, there's no reason not to, like fuck it. Yeah, and it's not his rod, it's the rod for the place. So if something happens, it's not a big deal. They have a bunch. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. So I start casting out immediately. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm flicking the wrist. I'm fucking goofy, the perfect cast, I'm feeling it, man. I'm starting to get the bug, right?
Now, were you fly fishing? Or
No.
You just,
No.
Like
Now, I will admit, I was probably casting out way too often than a person should. Like, because obviously in terms of fishing, you're supposed to get a real good cast and then just kind of chill, right? And then maybe move it around once in a while and make it seem alive. But here's the thing. I think they're wrong. I have a theory. I think everyone's been wrong about fishing all along, okay? You need to treat it like a video game, right? This is how I genuinely was like, this is like a video game in real life. And that's the lamest fucking thing anyone can ever say about anything in existence.
It's like a video game, but in real life.
Because video games are meant to simulate things that we do in real life. So it's a dumb statement, but I was feeling it. And so this is what I believe, because what I was noticing is that when Ethan was out there, he was casting in, and he would just sit, and he was just kind of like, and he'd go on his phone, kind of like tug at it, and then he said he got like one little nibble, but he's not even sure if it was a nibble or if it was like a seaweed or something.
Yeah.
See, here's what I did. All right, I'm playing Red Dead. All right, I'm out there. I see a little splash in the water. Right? Oh, splash in the water. Whoosh. Reel out right to that splash. Wait, give it a little tug. Slowly reel in. You know why? Because my lure, it's alive, baby. It's a living lure, okay? I didn't even have a worm on this fucking thing. I didn't have bait, only lure. My lure, it's alive. It's swimming through the water. The fish are feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just casting. Nothing. Bring it in. All right. Look around. Over there, left. Bring it in. Nothing. Bring it back. All right. I did this about 3 or 4 times, and I'm feeling it. All right. I get a bite. This shit heavy as fuck. I'm like, oh, it's about to snap the goddamn string, baby. Let's go. I'm releasing. Gotta let it go. Bring it in. This motherfucker, he's right on the edge of the dock. He flies out of the water, okay? He's hook in the mouth. This is like, and I'm not shitting you. This is probably like a 12-inch sea bass because it's a thick boy, but it's long too. And I'm like, whoa, baby. I'm like, oh, bring it in.
Okay.
Gets off the hook. I'm disappointed. Everybody comes back. I tell them about it. They're like, yeah, good one.
Yeah,
all right.
Fish story. Yep, fish story.
Yeah, happens, right? It was probably a boot at the bottom of the water. It wasn't even a fish. And I'm like, fuck you. I look off to my left. I see a little splash. Everyone's gone again. I cast out. But when I went to cast, I overshot my arm and it went flying over to the right, like completely away from where I meant it to go. And I was like, oh, God damn it. So I immediately started reeling back in. And right when I started reeling, something bit. And I was like, no fucking way. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And I'm pulling it in. That's how I pull it in up to the dock. And the funniest part is I'm so excited for myself. I'm like, yes, I'm like this. I fucking did it. And I hear up from the balcony, like behind me, like 30 feet away, one of our friends, Grace, just goes, "Good job, Tyler." And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, I did it. And then I was like, what do I do? I didn't know what to fucking do.
Like, I didn't think I was the literal equivalent to. I didn't think I would get this far.
No, not at all. So that's my little fishing story. I actually didn't mean to go into that long of a tangent.
You know what's funny? You actually disproved your strategy with that story.
Why? I caught a fish within an hour.
No.
How many people?
Your strategy was targeting splashing water.
All right. I see what you're saying.
And on the last one, it was on the far left, and you went far right.
Okay, but we can't prove that there wasn't a splash on the far right. There may have been 2 splashes.
But we can say that you were not successful with any time that you successfully targeted a splash.
No, I won't allow that because I believe
fuck you.
I believe results are the true proof. Okay, so because if I went out there not doing that method, I wouldn't have fucked up doing the method, quote unquote, by your standards, and then caught it. So technically, by doing my method, it was the only way in which I would catch a fish. So yes, I think my method catches fish.
As long as you're not successful at the method.
Statistically, when people go out to fish, it's like what? Like 60% of the time, they're like, nothing today. Didn't get nothing.
83.4.
Probably more, exactly. But for me, no. Within an hour, I'm bringing in rainbow trout. I'm getting bites all over the place, dude. It was the only one I caught, but I did get 2 more bites after that. So.
And then I got a bite to eat at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the bites. Yeah. That's
that was
fair.
one of the bites. It was the bite of 87.
The bite of 87?
So how are you, Mitchell? I'm sorry to take up the first 10 minutes of the how you do's, but
I love fishing stories. I'm good because I'm making progress, but with that comes the cost of having to do physical therapy. I've also done a shockwave treatment. Nice. What a shockwave treatment is, they have this little wand. It almost looks like when you go to get I think it's not a sonogram.
ultrasound?
But ultrasound, yeah. So it looks like you're going to get the wand for an ultrasound. what it's doing is it's sending sound waves into your foot to break up the scar tissue. And it feels like, have you ever had one of those like massage guns that like kind of knead into you really quickly?
Yes. Yeah.
So picture that, except it's more like a jackhammer. It literally feels like you're being hit with a hammer.
What the hell?
And he's just going up and down my scar and all the areas where I just had, well, I say just, where I had the surgery 9 weeks ago. And it is just, I'm audibly groaning in a place where there's a lot of other people because it's a physical, like, it's a physical therapy gym. And the doctor had said, hey, this has had me in tears before. It's not fun. But at the rate it's able to help break up scar tissue, if I'm remembering that correctly, it is vastly worth the minute 20 seconds of pain that you're in while you're going through the treatment.
Interesting.
And so like I only made it up to level 2. And I was gripping and like digging my nails into the whatever mattress bed thing that they have you left. I don't know what they call them.
A cot.
But I guess, yeah. The trainer tables, that's what it is. The trainer tables.
Yeah.
And it was, now I will say this, as soon as he stopped it stopped hurting. It wasn't like now it was lingering. I then felt sore later throughout the day, but that specific pain was one where it stopped. But it sounds like you're being tased. Like it's that kind of noise.
You think,
oh, dude.
You think anybody's like into it?
I mean, I'm sure just because people are into so many.
Oh, your microphone. Wait, your microphone. Like, it was when you got like really aggressive too. It was like, I'll tell you. Like, sorry.
It was like, whoa. No, people are into so many things that they don't need to be into. That I know somebody's into this, but even when I got there, the guy who was going to do it looks at me, goes, "So, did the doctor tell you what to expect with this?"
Oh no!
And I was like, "Shit."
You never want to hear that.
Yeah, it was painful, but again, I definitely feel like the range of motion that I will have from doing this process will be more and quicker, without it being like a unsafe method. But apparently for Achilles injuries, this is actually a very common recommended procedure.
Okay. It like makes sense to me for some reason. You know, like I don't know why, but I always believe like keeping it active like helps the healing process instead of it just being stagnant. I don't know why.
Yep.
It's just always been a belief of mine. Probably gonna give myself a fucking broken bone doing that. Like, yeah, I'll just walk it off. It's fine. Keep it moving.
It depends on the injury. So because I've been in a boot, I haven't been able to bend my toes. And so they were doing all these exercises in physical therapy where they're stretching my foot different directions. And then they go
now I know somebody's into that. I'm just gonna say there's definitely someone into that. Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad for physical therapists for the people that are into it, but they're like
maybe the physical therapist is into it. Dude, you don't know. Maybe they love feet, dude. Okay, sorry.
That's the Patreon episode. He took my big toe and he just went to bend it like, he went to bend it like that much, and I like yelled out in pain because it's been straight for so long.
Yeah,
I can't. I actually have to work back that muscle to be able to bend it fully, and so part of the stretching and the kind of massaging that they do at the end of bending that, I'm just like in
that's crazy.
To me, the crazy part is like it's almost like post injury, like not obviously having the injury, but all the period up until having the surgery, I already had the injury, so I was just dealing with the pain as it was. As I'm healing, I'm getting better, but it's constant work and it's constant additional pain and uncomfort to get better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I almost think it's kind of a beautiful metaphor for where I'm at in my life, because I'm 30, I have a daughter now. I need to take certain things more serious and be better about my health. And so this was very much a, here's what happens when you don't take care of yourself. And the consequences were literally as severe as I think they could be, without it being like a permanent kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel that. I need to make a dentist appointment soon because it has been way too long since I've gone to the dentist.
That was one of those. I had my moment where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go, and they're like, it's not good. They're they're like, you can keep your teeth, but we're gonna be seeing you for a couple weeks. And I went through it. I got all the cavities I had at that time taken care of, and I was like, it sucked. But once it was done, just the peace of mind of knowing I don't have to worry about that anymore, so much nicer.
Yeah, I don't think I have any cavities. I'm not sure though. Like, I am pretty good at brushing and flossing. Like, I brush twice a day, floss at least once, and we even got a water pick. I would highly suggest getting a water pick.
Amanda got one actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's like a one-time investment for people at home. Just for, like, now listen, if you don't brush much, your gums will bleed the first time you use a water pick. But just keep using it. Keep using it.
Same with flossing though.
Yeah, true. Exactly. I don't think I have any cavities because I don't have pain. The only time I have pain is I notice at night I clench my jaw and somewhat grind my teeth. So in like the back of my jaw, I'll wake up with a pain sometimes, but it's not my teeth. It's like the grinding sensation.
They might give you a night guard. I got one.
I've actually bought one before. I need to buy a new one. I had one and then it got gross after a week or two. And I was like, well, I'm not using that anymore. And then just didn't buy another one. But because they sell them at Walmart where you can like custom fit them and stuff. And they actually work really well. Yeah, it worked like really well.
Because I was like, you threw it out after a week for what those cost, and I was like, oh, you got like a Walmart one.
It's like $30. It melts into your mouth. And honestly, it might have been like a month because I kept it in the sanitized thing. But after so long, it doesn't matter if you keep it in the
my dentist was like, oh, we're gonna have use lasers and shit to map out your mouth and perfectly have this. And the funny thing is, it actually doesn't fit entirely comfortable, but you can soak it in really hot, like boiling hot water, put it in, and then kind of freeform it slightly.
That's the lasers sound like a moot point because that's just what you do with the one from Walmart. Like, it's a clay or like a plastic thing, and you put it in boiling water, and then you let it cool for like 10 seconds, and then press it down on your teeth, and it like perfectly forms into your mouth, and then you just pull it off, and then it fit perfect every night. So that laser sounds like a scam.
No, my guess is this one is the length of time that it's going to last.
That's fair too. Although there has been a thing with dentists on Reddit that's been going around recently that has me sketched out, that I do think that I now think that you should always get two opinions, apparently, when it comes to a dentist, unless you have a family dentist, of course. Like, if you have someone you've been going to forever, that's totally different.
Oh, yeah.
But there's been a lot of stories on Reddit of people going in and being like, so I went to a dentist and they told me I had like 13 cavities because I haven't been to the dentist in 7 years. And then I went to a second dentist and they told me, oh no, you're fine. I can just give you a cleaning for $50. And it kind of does make you realize, like, we don't fucking know. Like, I would, like, if a dentist just told me I have a cavity, I'd be like, yeah, I have a cavity. Okay. Fix it up, doc. But I don't apparently you don't always. This actually happened to Audrey. She, when she was younger, her dentist told her she needed to get fillings in like 9 of her teeth. They were like, oh, we're going to just give you fillings and cap them up on like most of your back teeth. And then when she moved to Vegas and she went to a new dentist, they were like, well, hey, whoa. Why are half of your teeth filling? And she's like, oh, well, my dentist told me I needed them. And they were like, no, you do not. Like, that's awful. You do not need that many fillings. There's no way you had that many cavities, especially from looking at her teeth. There's no fucking way. So, yeah, I if it's just a way to hike up the bill, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But apparently it's a common thing.
I feel like though, like every field has that. Doctors have that where they'll be like, oh, like I had a doctor one time take me when I was being seen or not being seen when I wanted to be seen. At the time I had a PPO insurance, so I could just go to whoever. I didn't need to get a referral. But they asked, what are you being seen for? What's the pain? And I think this one was, I think it was my wrist injury. And the doctor agrees to see me. So I see the doctor. And I wait for like an hour to get seen. I'm finally in there. Wait for like another half hour, 45 minutes, which normally I'm fine with. I totally understand.
I'm used to that now too.
Doctors have a busy kind of schedule that I don't know how all that stuff works. And if it means, more accurate and better time with them for my treatment, sure, whatever.
Yeah, and to that point too, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I always kind of think like, what if they're saving someone's life right now? Like, not that they, but or they're dealing with someone who has cancer or something like that. It's like, hey, we don't know the situation. I'll be cool.
Exactly. And it's like going to the doctor's office. You're like, hey, this is kind of the priority right now.
Yeah.
But he comes in finally and goes, okay, so for this injury, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'll go ahead and refer you to my friend. And I was like, then why did I make an appointment to come and see you?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I pay?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you ask for me to get an x-ray of this?
Mm-hmm.
You identified it was the...
Yep.
I don't know. It just felt really sketchy. I didn't like him.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's just, and that's the thing is I don't want to just sound ignorant. Like maybe there's something about the medical field, like you were saying, that we just don't understand. We just, hey, that's not. But I had the same experience in Vegas. I finally was trying to find a primary doctor in Vegas like a year before we moved because I didn't have one after my parents split and moved and stuff. I didn't have a primary, so I didn't know. So I was trying to find one, found a guy who had somewhat good reviews, but they were like a new practice, Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, this could be good, And I went in, I got a checkup, and they have this thing where it was like, oh, your first checkup is covered by insurance entirely. And then later, I got a bill for $120. I was like, This is weird. And under the reasoning, like the description, it just said medical services. And I was like, that doesn't tell me anything. What did you charge me for? I don't, because it even said insurance covered X amount. This is the amount you have to pay. I was like, what? That doesn't make it. So I called them and they went, oh, yeah, it says here that the doctor gave you dietary advice. Did you mention anything about like anything specific? And I was like, oh, well, I said I had a slight pain in my side every once in a while, and I wasn't sure if it was serious or if it was just And she was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Any advice that he offered to you based on that is outside of your checkup. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, all right. Because at first I'm like, fine. You know what? Fine. I get it. This is the bullshit you guys pull, but... Just like, and I didn't say it, but I was like, just don't do it again. If this happens again, it's like a fool me twice type thing. So I went in for my follow-up and it was literally like, you're almost too healthy. I don't understand. This is crazy. Like he was saying it in a way where it's like looking at me like, you should be more fucked up. And it's like, okay, did you even test anything? Now I don't even know. And he said, yeah, but there's a slight, weird reading in your, colon or, lower left, whatever area. So we want to have you get a scan for that. I was like, all right, fine. I'll go get a scan. Had to pay out of pocket $180 for the scan while I was there. While I'm there, they tell me, oh, no, you need to pay up front. And I'm like, what? Wait, what? And they're like, oh, the doctor didn't tell you. I was like, no. They're like, oh, yeah, this insurance doesn't cover these scans. And I'm like, are you what? That would have been nice to know, So I'm like, whatever. Yeah. I think I'm dying. So, of course, I'm like, please. Yes, I will do it, So I get the scan done. I get another bill for $120 on top of the previous $120. And it wasn't even for the because it was a follow-up. It should have fallen under the checkup. That was the whole point of this whole thing. Like it wasn't a secondary thing. But again, because he suggested that I go get the scan, that was a secondary thing. So they charged me again for that. So now I owe this place $240. I already paid the $180 out of pocket for the fucking scan, right? So I call them and I go, hey, I have to cancel my next follow-up appointment because I can't afford for you guys to charge me again. Like, I just can't do it. But I was like, but please, when you get my results, could you have the doctor call me? Never heard from that doctor again. Like, what happened? What? I physically don't even know what's wrong with me and or was, if anything, wrong with me.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Like, I didn't pay that money and it's now just sitting in collections and has been slowly declining a bit by bit every time they send me a bill. So I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck you. But
so, okay, they are in your network for insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but there was because I had I was working at Maverick at the time, and it was one of those things where there's a very it was a very specific amount because I haven't reached my deductible yet, so I'm still paying out of pocket for certain things.
Gotcha.
But other things were covered, other things weren't. This is what I mean, where it's like they get you in the door because they're like, oh, your first checkup is covered, it's totally free, and then all this, and that was it. But yeah, it was just a complete fuckery. Because like I said, when they would send me a bill, it did show me the portions that insurance covered, and it was most of it. You know, it would be like a $500 bill, and then my insurance covered like $320 of it or whatever. But the rest of it for that little extra that was like, oh, well, that was the suggestion he gave. Yeah. It's a fucking nightmare.
So one thing you can do, and this is something that we learned with the pregnancy, is you can request an itemized bill in which they have to go through and they have to say what each item being charged is. What also happens is it restarts the time in which you have to pay, because once you request that, they have to go and create a new receipt, in which case you don't have to pay until that new receipt is. What happens, sometimes they add so much shit, they forget and they don't put it on the receipt. Because it's because they just throw in shit randomly. Insurance system is all fucked.
It's bullshit.
Like it's a necessary thing in the way our healthcare system is set up, but it is fucked.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like one person ruins it for the rest of them, right? So then I feel like every single hospital and every single doctor now feels like they have to at least somewhat game the system because they have to, because otherwise their hospital won't make money. You know, so it's like we just end up being fucked in the long run, but it's like everyone is getting fucked at the end of the day. Because I doubt doctors want to do this, right? I mean, like, why would you go through 10 years of school and all that just to fuck people over and not care? You know what I mean? Like, that seems dumb. That doesn't make sense to me.
And that's where a lot of times it's usually the insurance. But I mean, at the same time, I'm getting a different primary care doctor because my primary care doctor sucks so much. They were the reason that I got injured on January 20th and I didn't get my surgery, a ruptured Achilles surgery, till March 6th.
I don't know what is this common thread amongst modern medicine, but that's the same thing has been happening with Audrey. It's like, it's just, you come in, you say something's wrong. They're like, we'll see. And then 6 months later, they're like, whoa, we finally found out something's really wrong with you. It's like, fuck off, man. Like it's scary. It's actually kind of genuinely scary. It makes you not want to go to the doctor. Me and my dad have had this conversation because it gives you that anxiety where you're like, well, if it's not serious enough for me to feel like I have to go to the doctor, I almost don't want to because I don't want to deal with this shit, you know?
And here's where I will always be an advocate of still going because, and again, in my situation too, my doctor sucked, but I can't let that be my opinion of healthcare. I'm going to find a different doctor and I'm going to ask the questions of, you know, whatever kind of questions I feel are going to make me feel more secure in that choice. But being open and ready to say, hey, if I'm not comfortable with it, if I don't feel like my health is in the best care, deciding that I'm going to make that choice, because at the end of the day, if you are kind of sick, I think COVID was a great eye opener to, you never know what it could be. Yeah. And if it's bad enough for you to think about going to the doctor, probably it wouldn't hurt to go to the doctor.
That's what I was going to say, though, because it's like in your situation, with the amount of pain your Achilles was in, like obviously something was, it's not like you're going to put that off or anything. But it's one of those things where if you have I have a slight sharp pain in my back or something, but not bad enough where it hinders your whole day, or I can't help but think like, well, I'm not going to waste my time going to the doctor unless this thing puts me out, which is a terrible way. And it's sad that a lot of people, including me, think that way. But yeah, I mean, I witnessed that when we would live together. If I got like the flu or anything like that, like I wasn't going to the doctor. I was just like, give me a bunch of orange juice. I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going to take medicine. Yep. I'm going to take over-the-counter shit that's been proven or whatever to help and get through it. And, within like 2-3 days, I'd be done. But anytime you had like any form of like tickle your throat thing, boom, you immediately went to the doctor. Yep. And like, I respect it. But also, sometimes they went overboard, because I feel like sometimes all you had was a tickle in your throat, and they'd give you like promethazine, and I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" So
much codeine when we were at that apartment, where I was even like, "I don't want to be put on a list, you guys." I haven't finished the last 2 bottles you gave me.
It's sad that, like, I mean, and I don't mean to make this dark, but there's people out there who literally can't get access to the drugs that they need for their physical pain. And then it's like other times it's like, I have a tickle in my throat. Oh, here's fucking 750 milliliters of codeine.
And I think you remember, like, half the time I wouldn't take it because I'm like, I don't need to be on my ass.
That bottle was huge.
That gave me fucking like a 2-liter.
It was a liquor bottle filled with promethazine, dude. It was insane.
So many, like, if anybody just came in and saw, they'd be like, you're a dealer. And I'm like, no, I just get sick a lot.
Hey, you're double cupping on the daily, dude. Like, because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
That was such, I almost forgot about that. That was really funny.
Okay, holy shit. Go ahead.
Do you, and because I think another thing people should also do is, if you have insurance, check to see on the back if they have the telehealth, or even call the number, because one thing I do now is now they have the phone app where you can digitally, and what's cool is there's times where I've, over the course of a couple months, been able to get the same doctor that I got the last time. And they'll have all your charts and all your information. They leave all your notes. They can even prescribe medicine. If you need an x-ray or anything like that, then they'll end up recommending you to go to an in-person facility. But sometimes if they make the recommendation, they're like, you know what, I'm going to send you here, I think they can coordinate to maybe schedule you an appointment. This is not sponsored. I just think that everybody should take care of their health, as somebody who's learned that the hard way. And any ways that I think I can help, that is what I want to provide.
All right, I'm going to bring some balance to this podcast. Here's the other end of the spectrum, all right? Never take any over-the-counter drugs ever, okay? They're just going to fuck your system up. Let yourself naturally fight against it. This is what I've done my entire life. Look at me, all right? When have you ever seen me take an Advil? When have you ever seen me take an ibuprofen? Never.
Do bong rips of sobriety count?
Exactly. Natural Advil. No, I'm like, obviously I'm kidding, but I am kind of half kidding. I do kind of have that. I think there is something scientific to it in the same sense, as I do kind of have that belief that, like, if you take too many medications, your body then kind of builds a natural new baseline of what your pain tolerance is or resistance is. So you won't even realize when you have a problem. Like if you have like a back pain and you take Advil, right? And then it's like, every day you start taking Advil. And it's like, then you take 2 Advil. You don't even realize that if your back pain is getting worse, that might be due to an actual serious issue that if you just went to the doctor after a certain point and then got it fixed, it would be. So this is a weird balance where I'm saying, like, I don't necessarily trust medications, but I do trust doctors. You know what I mean? It's like, because I mean, even with my mom is a perfect example, you know, without getting too deep into it, she had struggled with medication, like not in a bad way, but just in the sense of like, she didn't like that balance of like, yes, I want to feel better with my chronic pain, but I also don't want to get zonked out of my mind before I go to bed, you know, or it's like, you know, take an Ambien at 4 p.m., you know, or some shit. Like, who wants to do that when you're trying to live your life and you're not a fucking rapper? Well, okay, well, Mitchell, you probably want to do this, but who wants to take an Ambien at 4 p.m.? No, but yeah, when she transferred to smoking weed, she started to phase off of those medications. And now, you know, science is still out. Who knows in the long run? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's healthier alternatives.
Oh, yeah. And I think, yeah, you're 100% right. You know, and I mean, with everything, the more you take of something, the bigger resistance you get of it, the more you need to take. And
same with
that
weed.
Can cause problems as well. Yeah. But I think that, you know, for example, if you got prescribed something like, oh, you need this antibiotic because you have an infection.
Oh, yeah. That's different.
You're going to take that.
That's totally different.
But if they're like, hey, we're going to give you 4 gallons of promethazine, you're not going to be like, well, I need to take every drop of that son bitch.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I would think that. I mean, if somebody handed me a bottle of promethazine, I'm going to drink every last drop of that bitch. They gave it to me. It's not illegal.
It's prescribed.
It's prescribed, exactly. And then the doctor can feel the guilt if I overdose. That's not my problem. Because then they'll be like, why did you prescribe him a full bottle of, you know, that's his fault. So
I think he had it in him.
No, he got that dog in him, dude. I just got that dog in me sometimes. What a fascinating conversation about the medical field that I did not think we would have in this episode. Do you want to get into some questions from our viewers?
Let's get into some questions.
Whoa.
This desk is not as stable enough for me to be doing that.
It's not built for that.
Aggressively as I was doing that.
No, this house was not built for that. Don't do those things. So, all right, it is time for the question corner. 2 C's, 2 Q's. And why don't we start off with one that's for both of us? We've recently done some music reviews, so I thought this could be an interesting question. Why a username asked, why is 4/4 used so consistently in the music industry? Why do we not see more 3/4 or 6/8 in today's music other than classical? I guess, real quick, I should just... Wait, are you going to do the same thing I'm about to do? I don't know.
No, what I'm going to do is I want to throw out my answer of I have no idea, so let me just throw something because I don't know music like theory, because I think that would technically music theory, or is that just
in a way? I mean, it's time signatures in music, so it's kind of music theory. But
I can't read music is what I'm trying to say.
Before you answer, that's what I was gonna say. Let's maybe explain what that even means if somebody doesn't understand listening and they're just like, all right, I have no context.
Okay.
Because you at least kind of understand what it means. You just don't...
I at least, yeah.
So 4/4 in music is your basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The count of 4 beats in a bar or measure. And in 3/4, it's where you have 3 beats within a 4-bar measure. So it's kind of like like the waltz. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then 6/8, same thing, but you have a 6 count. And to be fair though, 3/4 is just 6/8. I think he fucked up that question.
Because it's a fraction and it's divisible by 2, so you can
that there isn't. I mean, he might just be talking about the blast beat because the fractions are lower, so it might be like a faster time signature. Maybe that's what that is.
Okay.
Not sure, but yeah, that's technically the same time to signature. But anyway, okay, what's your answer? What's your balls to the wall answer?
My answer is it works for a more cookie cutter formula. I think it's more of a natural completion because it gives you like a da 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 da. I and this is clearly where like I don't know music, but in my mind, with the
Go on,
threes-
musician with 3 released albums. Go on.
with the threes, it's I just see it less in pop culture, and I feel like pop culture is all about we're going to do the thing that works the most efficient. So if they're using the fourths in everything, it means that is the easiest way to produce something. That is my guess.
I mean, okay, I don't have a definitive answer. I'm not going to come at this
No,
like
you have,
I know.
but you're
in terms
correct on
in
this.
terms of what I understand about music theory and not even just music theory, but actually how music relates to our like biology and physiology or whatever the fuck the term is. So 4/4, it's not challenging. Let's start with that. So like on a mental level, it is very basic. It's very easy to just track. 3/4 is easy if you give people the context of like waltz, where it's like da 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 dun 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 dun. They can understand, and it's still based in the 4 time signature technically, because like it's one of those tricky things where 3/4, every time you get to the 12th bar, you still technically feel like it's a 4-bar beat, because over time 3s equal a 4, like 12 divides out to 4. It's a fucking math thing. So it's not too challenging. But once you start getting into like I think there's like 9/12 or like crazy shit like that, you start getting into weird territory where, in my opinion, it comes down to our heartbeat and what we can like sonically relate to and like on vibration levels. Because the heartbeat has a very steady do 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 do, real steady. And that's why actually most pop music is around 128 BPM, same with house music, because that is close to our heart rate. A resting heart rate should be between like 60 and 70. So that's why most house music is between 120 and 130, because that beat actually syncs with our heart rate and we feel the rhythm. So I think when it comes to those kind of offbeat things, I think it's literally our body kind of rejecting it because we can't catch a rhythm. And then like once you get used to it and start getting a vibe for it, you can feel the rhythm of it and the different time signatures and how they change and stuff. But if you don't have any experience with it or you're not exposed to it, it's just kind of like throwing a fork into a fucking blender. It's like
an unnatural pattern to us.
Yeah, exactly. I think I remember reading something about that before, where it's mostly due to our heart rate that we vibe with a 4/4 pattern so much.
Well, you heard it. That is the correct fact. Merriam-Webster, update your dictionaries.
I made all that up. This stupid bitch. So anyway, no. Okay, I liked this question, so let's do this one. We might not do all of these, but I might skip over one of them. But we'll do. Okay. So I like this one because it's interesting. If you could merge 2 fictional universes, what would they be and why? I like this idea a lot. I don't know why. It's a cool concept. Like, so for example, I kind of want like Harry Potter to be in the same world as like Saving Private Ryan, or like something really gritty and hardcore, like war based. Harry Potter's too fluffy, man. I want SWAT and like military. Like I want the American military to find out about Hogwarts and then try to infiltrate them. And so you have like fucking Navy SEALs walking down the hallways of Hogwarts, right? Expelliarmus!
AI to make that.
AR flying out of their hand and shit. It'd be awesome, dude. I'm so hyped for that right now. Black Hogwarts down. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
I was I just know I have an issue because my mind was like, I want to mix my universe with the Naruto universe.
You just want the most anime manga you could possibly have.
Yes, 100%. No, I would say. Man, that's actually like tough.
I know, right? Because I mean, it is cool to imagine certain things, but it is to take it a further step is hard. Because I'd like to say like, oh, it's like Skyrim and Star Wars. Like, how could you cross those over? But then when you actually try to think of like, well, how would they cross over?
You're like, one person with a blaster could take out everyone in Skyrim.
Well,
and you're
what
like,
if?
all right, well.
But what if Luke Skywalker learns how to use a shout? Like, that's dope.
That could be cool.
Like, what if Luke is the Dovahkiin? You know what I mean? Like, that's sick.
Okay, if we're going off that, then I think Minesweeper and Metal Gear Solid.
Pro.
Just
No, hold on. But you read my mind a week or two ago. There needs to be a modern Minesweeper because it is such a good game. All right, I don't care. I don't care. It's a good game. It's a solid concept.
You won't stream it for an hour.
I was debating it. I honestly, during my music stream, I was just gonna play Minesweeper, but I was like, no, I won't do that this time. But yeah, I'm so down. I will be the only Minesweeping Twitch streamer. The Minesweeper.
That music stream was actually a lot of fun. Amanda
was
and I
fun.
were both watching it on the big TV, like that's what we were just watching normally.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. I'm gonna definitely be doing more of those. So, small plug if you want to watch me react to some music. Check out my
And if
YouTube
you want to
channel.
watch me harass him while he reacts to music.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it much longer on YouTube because they have like a weird copyright thing.
Oh yeah.
Like even during live streams, which is fucking nonsense. It's like who? Because I understand if you're doing a music review channel, if you do that thing where you let the song play entirely, like and don't comment on it. Okay, yeah, sure, I understand. That's people can go back to it and listen to it, and that's a way for them to listen to the song. Not through Spotify or the means to pay the artist. I get that.
Yeah.
But if it's a live stream where I'm constantly talking over it, constantly pausing it, and I don't plan on posting it after the fact, so you can only experience it during the live stream, why the fuck? Because I was literally getting warnings during my live stream. It would pop up with a little thing that says like content warning, you may be blocked in other nations during this live stream. And I was like, what? Why? Who the what? It's so dumb.
Fun fact, I think Kendrick made it so anybody talking about or commenting on his videos doesn't get copy. That is such a genius
You can
move.
even remix it without because technically in the way he did it, like you can't get dinged for anything copyright. So there's even people making like animations with it and making remixes with it, and they're getting total like copyright free payment basically.
Are you gonna make a remix is what you're saying?
I don't know. That's rough, man. Do I really want to have a remix with certified pedophile like in the song? I don't know. Is it true?
Fair.
We'll get into that. But all right. It looks like we had two questions that were for us individually. So let's do yours first.
Okay.
Yeah, Gerbils had asked this.
So Gerbils asked, for Tsuku, in regards to your manga you're working on, what inspires your stories and creativity while making the story? So I kind of go in a blend of two things. I like to take maybe things that have happened to me in my life where I think I learned a lesson from something that I'm like, oh, this is a good way to maybe teach a story through a lesson, and then just make like the anime version of what happened. But other times I'll just look for interactions that happen just in my day-to-day life. You see something crazy happen at work, or you hear a story that, oh wow, that's wild. How could that be different? But the thing that I think I do the most is I put on songs and I think, okay, if I took two characters from my story and they were in a scene and this song was playing, what is happening in the scene? And this is the definitive way I'll say, like, I write a lot of my interactions with characters. I fall asleep listening to these songs and picturing it in my head. And what I'm also kind of trying to get myself to do is to start dreaming about it, to kind of just have it play out in my head and kind of see, you know, what does my brain create from everything that I. And so I use.
Wait, real
used
quick.
it too much.
Your camera froze like halfway through that.
Oh, okay. I was literally just texting you when I ask, "Are you frozen or fucking with me?" and then my internet crashes.
Oh, wait. All right, well, you're definitely frozen again.
What I'll sometimes do with listening to the songs is, and not in a way where I'm trying to just recreate a music video for that song, but I'm saying if I were to take my two characters and drop them into a scene and this song is playing, are they mad at each other? Did one of them get betrayed? And it's more of using that song to set the mood and the atmosphere and then letting the scene play out. And so sometimes I'll have it where there'll be a song, and because I made a specific playlist where I'll say these will be my 15-20 songs I'll play as I fall asleep, and I'll take ones out if I start being like I either can't think of anything good, or I get to the point where I'm like, there's only one story I can tell with this song now because I know exactly what I want to paint. And then I'll be like, okay, then I switch in a new song. So a lot of it, honestly, my creativity, all that comes from listening to music and using music to create new stories to tell, which again, with hip hop as a background, I feel like it kind of makes a lot of sense with the way that I use storytelling.
Hell yeah. Your mic is doing a weird thing. I don't know.
God damn it.
No, it's funny you say that though, because that actually is a similar thing that Quentin Tarantino does. He's talked about a lot in his interviews.
Oh,
that
I didn't know that.
he pictures scenes with songs before he writes the movie. A lot of the times, he'll imagine what the actor would be doing during this song, and or what the character would be doing, and then kind of base scenes around that. So that's why in his movies there's a lot of like heavy influence of like pop hits and like not even necessarily pop, but like pop culture hits, big music.
I got you, yeah.
So yeah, that's cool because I find myself doing that a lot too, almost inadvertently. Like I'll hear a song and then almost imagine how this would work in a movie. Like it's not like I'm even trying to come up with a concept for a movie or a story. It's just like, oh, this would be really cool in this type of scene. You know, like especially, I don't know why, but I always envision things that are like very opposite of the song. Like if it's a very like there's a very upbeat 70s song. I'm trying to remember the exact one that I was, because it wasn't Come and Get Your Love, but it was another. But either way, every time I would listen to it, I was almost imagining like a horror movie, like murder scene with like a serial killer chasing them. But it's this very upbeat, happy song, and kind of that dissonance between the two things. I was like, oh, this would be a good scene in a movie. Like, I can't help but think about those type of weird things.
Okay. No, I see you.
Yeah, it sparks inspiration. I think that a lot of times anything can spark inspiration, and it's why I think it's okay to take a break from things, because sometimes, especially if you're a creative person, like obviously if you're doing like business work, like I don't know, maybe if you watch something it might spark something, I don't know. But as far as being creative, like when I'm stuck in a hole or hitting a wall and I can't really convince myself to take a break because I'm like, well, I just have to get it done. Whenever I take a step back and go, no, I'm going to go take a minute and watch a TV show or go walk down to the arcade or fucking just chill. In those moments, more often than not, I will play an arcade game that makes me go, oh, that feature is something that's interesting. That makes me think of this. And like, oh, well, what if that happened? And then it sparks creativity. It starts going. Or I'm watching a TV show and I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. But what if the character did this? And it sparks more creativity. And so it's almost like by taking these little breaks and pulling yourself out of it, I'm actually still feeding into my creativity by absorbing other entertainment and information and just other people's experiences. Like you were saying, someone tells you a story and you're like, whoa, that's a fucking crazy story. Oh, that'd be a good game, or that'd be a good song. That'd be a good, we get inspiration from lots of places.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've even seen sometimes I'm like, in anime character's power, I'm like, you could do a whole horror movie just based around that one thing. But yeah, it's I think you also have to be open to being inspired by something, which I don't know, maybe people talk about. I feel like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. If you want to work on a project, there's so many times I'm like, okay, I want to write this song. And I can sit there, and there's times I've sat down 8 hours and I'll maybe have like a line because I think I become too focused, too fixated on this one line that I can no longer write the song. It's kind of like you miss the forest for the tree because you're so fixated on this one that you need to kind of go into a state of blank, just a state of things are going to come in, and if it inspires, if it, I almost used to kind of picture in my head, somebody asked me, when you're freestyling, what are you thinking of? And it's almost like, it's like a spider web of words, and every time you pick a word, it moves you in that direction, and then there's more words associated around that word. And for me, it becomes, I see that, then I'm just picking out the words that rhyme or words that but it's just something that,
and not every word has to make sense, because as long as you have that one line that can kind of tie things together, things don't really even have to make sense in a freestyle. So it's like you can just let those web of words flow. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like it almost works on the subconscious level, because you started with this one word, the next two lines don't reference it at all, but then the third line you're like, oh, battleship, but you were talking about relationships, and now you're like, oh, playing board games with my heart, or some shit.
Exactly. Sunk my relationship, one of those.
Exactly.
And it's times where I've come up with a metaphor, and I'm like, oh shit, like, well, I'm freestyling, and
dude, even right now, I'm sorry, board games, like you got board games, battleship. There's so much you could do. There's so much right there.
Yeah,
we're geniuses. And cut the podcast. We're writing a song.
Podcast. We're writing an album. So it's one of those. You have to. It's funny how this just became like me giving advice on creativity, and he was just like, "What do you do?" But you have to be open to creativity. You need to figure out what your medium to connect with creativity is. Because again, for me, that's music. Again, I'm a rapper, listening to beats. For some people, that's a blank page. That is a blank, board to write on. Different people have different mediums that I think connect them to their utmost level of creativity, and using that however you can. Because again, I use beats sometimes. I've put on a rap beat, not even with words, and then I've put on like a fight scene from Naruto, and I wrote a song inspired on how I felt from watching that scene to that fight. Yeah,
I think, because to feed off of kind of what you were saying before and build off that, it is important to kind of not hinder yourself, and because something you can always fix, right? But you actually have to build something first. That's kind of my whole thing, is like when people try to write a song and they get stuck on a line, or maybe you're trying to like code a game and you can't figure out this one line of code or this one feature, just put something in. Just put something. It doesn't matter. Just put anything. Because in my opinion, what happens is when you put something in, like let's say you have a line that's like, I go hard in the paint, and then you're trying to come up with the next line. And you can't think of anything. So hard I might faint. And then just keep going. Because then you'll come back to it and go, so hard I might faint. That's not that good. and then you start thinking like, okay, taint. What about like, it's got something I don't want to get taint. No, that doesn't work. And then you start getting, now you actually have something to work off of. It's no longer what rhymes with paint. What's the point I'm trying to get across? No, fuck that. Just write the next line and then keep going. Because you will build off of that no matter what. Because it's almost like I like to pretend that someone else wrote it. It's like, just write it, pretend someone else, and then go, oh, that's not very good. Let me, I can fix that, fix this. It's about just doing the thing. Like, I think that's what people mean by when they say do the thing. They don't mean just do it well. They mean just do it, because when you do it, you'll find the flaws in the things that you're doing and find out how to fix them. Now, obviously, if you don't have any self-awareness, you might just release 500 songs that are absolute trash. But then you'll be known as the guy who released 500 songs that were absolute trash, and you'll probably also be famous. So who cares? Doesn't matter.
Either way, just do the fucking thing.
Do the thing. We are them. They are us. We've actually done quite a lot in this episode already, and I don't want this episode to be insanely long.
There's no way we can talk about the Kendrick Lamar this episode. Like, that's going to be an entire, I think, episode.
We need to pray that they release another diss or something. Something happens, because we need this to be relevant next week. Because I got to play this game with you. I have this final game we could play. It won't take very long.
Let's do it.
But all right, so sadly, this is not the Kendrick versus Drake episode, but we are going to talk about that.
And I will say this. I am going to have very organized notes, because I want to go through the actual timeline.
All right, I do have a timeline in mind. I don't have anything written out, but I have gone back and tracked out like how it started, quote unquote, like where the initial beef started, and then
Controlverse.
The Controlverse. No, I was thinking the is that the wait, sorry, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know the name of the track, but I don't think that is the song that Kendrick was supposed to be on with J. Cole.
Shooter. Oh no, I'm talking like
you're going back further.
2010s, like 2010s,
okay.
Like when like the beefs, to give like an idea of like, this is why the beef happened in the first place.
Okay,
Like,
see, I only went back to like literally where this beef started. You know what I mean? Like that. Okay.
Well, I think because the question everyone's gonna ask at the end of it is like, why? Like like we understand to a certain level, but where did this come from? Because I know that was one of the first things I asked. So I started doing like a deep dive, and I was like, this makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, I did. There was things that definitely popped out at me that was like, okay, I can see. And I will say a lot of the lyrics make more sense now. It's like one of those things where even Drake's, I'll even give Drake more credit than I gave him before. That doesn't mean a lot in how I feel about this situation, but I do give him way more credit than I did before. But we're not talking about that right now. So next episode, make sure to come back. We're going to talk about the Drake and Kendrick situation. Now, in this episode, Mitchell, I have a little game for you. I'm very excited about this game. I
like games.
I think this could be a real banger. You know, I've tested it on a few people. Oof. We've had good responses. So expect to see this in the App Store in the next couple months. So, all right, this is the Yelp review game. I'm going to read out the rules for you real quick. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to read a Yelp review from a specific fast food location. Then I will give you a list of 8 possible restaurants that the review could be referring to. Okay?
Okay.
Your job is to tell me which restaurant the review is talking about. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay. We're going to start off with something I think is a little bit easy. Okay? Ease us into this, right? Okay. First, let me send you the list of restaurants. Let's start. Round 1. Kyle S. On the 18th of February in 2022 said, "Where's my daughter's toy? Where's my bacon on my bacon cheeseburger? And why, when I call, are you answering the phones and then hanging up? Y'all suck." No likes. 1 favorite.
Burger King.
Sorry, that is McDonald's. That is McDonald's.
Damn. Oh, I was so split on that. I was
Yeah, I thought, I'll be honest, that was a bit of a softball with the toy. But again, Burger King, Wendy's, they also have toys. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Remember, play along at home.
It sounds like you're blaming me.
A little bit. Okay. Second review. 4 months ago by Irene N. No counter assistance. Team loudly spewing conspiracy theories at each other. Slow delivery. Avoid. 2 out of 5 stars.
It's the conspiracy theories. Burger King.
Loudly spewing. Wait, what was your guess?
Burger King.
Oh, I am sorry. You are 0 for 2, my friend. That is Taco Bell. That is Taco Bell. Come on, man. Nobody's
You
ever
said
at the
a bitch.
county.
Taco Bell's not on the list.
Wait, yes it is.
No, it's not. Look at the list you sent me. You cheated.
Oh, I did cheat you. 1 out of 2, my friend. I don't know how that happened.
I definitely would have picked Taco Bell. For
I think you would have.
conspiracy theories.
Exactly. That's why I was confused. I was like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yeah, I was like, I guess.
All right.
I was like, I don't see Taco Bell.
All right. That's a fault on the host. That is a fault on the host. I apologize. We'll give you 1 out of 2. All right.
All right, I'll take it.
Third question. William B. 8 months ago. Some bitch in the drive-thru told me I need to lose weight. I'm about to create a criminal case, breaking windows, etc., unless I get a heartfelt apology after she loses her job. The shift manager heard the insult and didn't send her home? What type of bullshit is going on at this store? Your video ought to prove my point. I was at the West 11th store at 9 o'clock and 9:15. That's not an approximation. I was there from 9 until 9:15. And you wonder why I was upset. And her attitude was pure crap. Didn't exactly make for a good morning or afternoon. I'm gonna fly a sign after dropping my child in the morning off after being too fat to eat at blank.
Wendy's.
Yes! Yes!
There wasn't a hesitation in my mind. Somehow from the jump, the energy was. I'm like, that's just mad Wendy's energy.
Yes! Oh my god. You are 2 for 3 with an asterisk, my friend.
Shut up. That's your asterisk. Not my asterisk.
Oh, in the rule book, they're not going to know what the asterisk means. It's just an asterisk. All right.
Stupid Wendy's. Yes.
Some bitch in the drive-thru told me I needed to lose weight.
That's when I knew it was a Wendy's.
All right. We have 3 more rounds, okay?
Okay.
All right. Third round. 10 months ago, Paige. She said, hard day at the office. Real hard. Needed something to lift my spirits. Sat down with my wife and decided chicken was the move. Headed over around 8 p.m., was in the car singing along to Sweet Home Alabama. But chicken was not good. Dry. And cheese was like a piece of ham flopping? What? To make matters worse, around 15 minutes later, my wife and I are cramping at the stomach. Bloated. Gassy. Had to pop multiple Pepto. Wife is on the toilet as I type this. 2 likes. 2 out of 5 stars.
Okay. There's actually, I think, 2 hints, unless... Okay, so the first hint, obviously, being chicken. So, B-dubs, KFC jumps out. Now, the other thing, Pizza Hut has wings as well. Now, the follow-up to that is 15 minutes later, they take medicine. which indicates this wasn't a sit-down restaurant because they had access to take medicine in a quick period of time.
Could it have been 15 minutes after they left the restaurant, though? You don't know. I'm not trying to influence your decision, but you're making good observations. I love this game.
But the thing that's actually kind of going with a red herring, a red chicken ring. I was gonna say a red cock ring, and I was like, is the cheese. And for that, I'm gonna go with Burger King.
Oh. I'm gonna give you one more guess. I want you to. I feel like you thought too hard. I'm gonna give you one more guess.
Okay, KFC.
That is correct, my friend.
Okay.
KFC. I know. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Dry and cheese was like a piece of ham flopping. What cheese? What cheese?
That's the part where I was like,
was it from, like, did they get one of the bowls, like the KFC bowls, maybe, with the cheese on top? Like, I'm trying to think of what the fuck.
Maybe they got, because that does have the cheese on, but it's, again, like, to complain about the cheese at KFC, it's like, why the fuck are you worried about cheese at KFC? Like, unless it's the mac and cheese. Oh, maybe that's what they were talking about. Like,
Maybe.
It was like bologna.
I don't know. Sorry, there's the comment under it also from KFC is 1 out of 5 stars. If it was any more raw, this chicken would have crossed the road.
Jesus.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. We have 2 more left.
2 left.
We've narrowed down your list. These should be a little bit easier, okay? But not as easy as you'd think. Stephen H. on February 7th, 2023 said, "We were a decent-sized table for 8 of us, including 2 toddlers, but the waitress we had was extremely slow and forgot things we ordered several times. Not worth the money, not worth the wait." And this restaurant replied to Stephen and said, "It's clear that this wasn't the best experience, and that concerns us. Our guest relationship team will be available to help, and if you'd like to contact us about it, you can."
B-dubs.
Olive Garden. It's Olive Garden.
Really?
Yeah.
They do treat you like family.
Yeah, well, not here, apparently. The guy online does. You know, their PR. All right. Last one. Are you ready?
All right. I'm ready.
The 23rd of July, 2022. 1 out of 5 stars. The food is frozen, reheated trash. It's dirty and sticky everywhere, and it's noisy as hell. I have no clue why anybody would spend their money or time here. Dump.
Red Lobster.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
No.
So what did we end up with? We got 3 out of 6?
So 50%. So
Not too bad.
I think I won.
I'll give you... You know what? Just because I fucked up so bad by not giving you Taco Bell, we're going to give you that win today. Everyone, let's give a round of applause for Mitchell for our first round of Yelple. A game
I'd like to thank the Academy.
A game that I think might come back. This one's fun. I think...
Yeah, no, I'll prepare questions for you for next time. Unless you want this to be like a you question me bit.
Hey, if you find some good Yelp reviews, I am not against you bringing them my way. I guess my only thing is that they obviously have to be like restaurants and or stores that are chains. Like they have to be things that are widely known. So I was thinking like it could be like mall stores or like, you know, like things that are very clearly well known, you know. So yeah.
Or product departments on Amazon. What product department is this review from?
Yeah. Or if you give me a list of like 10 products and there's 5 reviews and I have to guess out of those 10 products, like
that.
what
Okay,
review that has to
I'll do Amazon reviews because Amazon's got some wild fucking reviews.
I'm not trying to be a business mogul or anything, but I think there's something to this Yelple thing. Like, I think if I made an app where you had to guess the restaurant based on the review. That's fucking fun. That's a fun game.
Could be a way to pick a restaurant or avoid one.
I feel like I'd get sued by like
That's
a
okay.
shit ton of restaurants though, because they'd be like,
be
stop,
famous.
stop using our terrible reviews. But anyway, yeah, let us know in the comments if you would play Yelple at home.
Do it.
So, all right. Do you have anything else you want to say today before we say goodbye?
Closing time.
One last
That's about
call for alcohol. Is getting on you here.
Ba, ba, ba.
Closing time. One last call for alcohol, and Neon Valley's gonna end. Bye, everyone.